Cousins was still available to you when seven rolled up?
We were excited and we were happy, but I wouldn't say surprised. It was an excellent draft. I think that's also why you didn't see a lot of trades today. People were excited about what their pick. They knew that they're going to be getting a good player. So obviously we were very excited with Dylan still being there. But I wouldn't say we were surprised by it.
What attributes does Dylan have that really made him the pick for you guys?
I think his size, speed, and it's not just speed. The way he plays, he pushes the pace quite a bit out there. Versatility, playing center, playing wing, his ability to play a two-way game. So there was so many different attributes, and you look over our report trail with him all year, whether it was the Hlinka in August, throughout the year, U18s at the end of the year. He was very consistent from that standpoint. So we felt very comfortable making the selection there.
What did you learn about him, despite everything you just said with the scouting reports through the year? What did you learn about him in the meetings, in and around the Combine, and in this week even perhaps, that led you to make the pick?
Well, I think we didn't learn a lot more through the meetings of the Combine. It's on our staff to get to know these players throughout the season, and I think they do a very good job with that. And everything that we've got to know from Dylan is, he has obviously the unique background growing up in Yukon, but there's a there's a drive in there, a motivating factor in his work ethic and a knowledge of what he has to work on in his game. And that really came across in the meetings that he was driven to become a National Hockey player, understanding that he wasn't there yet. There's still a lot of work to do, which is the case with so many of these 18-year-olds. But that sort of dedication, that plan really came through.
The way 3 through 6 fell, did that leave you with a good problem, a good decision of multiple guys, or were you locked in at that moment on Cousins?
We were locked in based off of our list and how we had prepared for it. But I'll tell you right off the bat, Mike, there was a lot of players in that area that I'd like to have on my team. So, and as we talked about this morning, a lot of different types of players. You have defensemen, you had the scoring wingers, you had power forwards, you had so it was a unique draft that it seemed to sort of touch point on every position out there.
How much can you appreciate his journey here? I mean, he's done something no one else has really done before. I mean, it's very unique.
It's very unique. I couldn't imagine it because I know sometimes people think growing up in Winnipeg is way out there, but it's still nothing compared to the Yukon. But to me, you talk to him a little bit about growing up in minor hockey in Yukon and then having to leave home at such a young age and showing a maturity to that and just reflective of maybe a difficult path, but in his mind it hasn't been difficult. It's just what you have to do to accomplish your dreams.
Jason, did you try to move up from 31? Did you have discussions to try to move up?
Not a lot from 31, I would say. We did try a little bit from 7, but obviously teams, as we talked about before, were certainly excited about making their selections there and didn't want to move.
Was there any talk of moving 31 for current talent?
We certainly had those discussions, but as you saw today, there just wasn't a lot of player movement from there.
How surprising was that? Or was that an outgrowth of the lack of a cap announcement? Or what was your thought on that?
I don't know if I have an exact answer for you. And I think there's probably a lot of teams talking to other teams. There's a lot going on, a little bit from the cap situation. I think too, one theory I have is just that we do have time until free agency begins. It's not as if it's going to happen here, Monday or Tuesday. There's a whole another week here before free agency begins. So I think you are still going to see a lot of trades maybe go on later on next week.
There were a lot of talented players still available at 31. What made Johnson really the pick for you guys there?
Well, we felt very comfortable his sort of development throughout the year. And again, you look at it, some similar characteristics to Dylan. Very good athlete, a very good skater, has that ability to play well in his defensive zone, play against other teams' top players, but then it also has the sense from a puck movement ability. And I think when we talk about what we eventually want how our team wants to play and how we want to play when we're successful, it's our defensemen joining the rush, our defensemen getting pucks up to our talented forwards, and we really feel Ryan fits the bill.
Who's the first CHL player you've taken with the Sabres?
Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan is.
I knew you guys were going to bring it up. Hey?
Is that just coincidence, or is there a reason why you had it?
I'll go back to it. I think it was just a sheer coincidence, and I think especially, I'll admit, later round picks, I have a bias. It just, like, I think they take longer. There's probably going to be more of a focus on college kids and European kids for the mid to late round picks. Early round picks, there's so many talented Canadians, and especially players in the CHL. I've liked making the selection of Casey Middlestat and Rasmus Dahlin, so I feel very comfortable with those two selections there. So I think it's more a situation of, hey, it didn't click there. But another step that I would just say is that there's no bias. My head amateur scout came from Hockey Canada. We've believed in the model in the CHL. We believe it's a great development program. The fact that two of our selections in Picard and Luukkonen, we worked with them to get them to the CHL after we drafted there. So to me, it was just a coincidence.
So you're not doing a fist pump when you see things unfold from 3 to 6 and knowing that you have like house money to play with?
Look, I think the way we saw it as it was flowing 3-6, we felt comfortable, as I talked to you about this morning. It wasn't just a line. We knew we were going to get a very good player. And we were very excited that Dylan was there. But there were some talented players that went behind us and stuff too. It was a very good draft this year.
Is the fact that he can play center or wing going to help give him a possibility of maybe playing in his first year and not going back to junior?
Look, you always want your players to come in and have that belief, and we're certainly going to give them an opportunity. But the realistic factor from it, and I've been on record saying, like, I think there's probably maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 players that will step in and play in the National Hockey League this upcoming year. Probably the best thing for any player is to go back to junior and have that another year of development. But we'll see how the summer goes. As we've talked about before, like, Dylan is a very good athlete. He has a great sort of size and a great frame, but he certainly has to get stronger, and it is certainly a big jump to the National Hockey League from junior. But hey, we'll see how things go in training camp.
How eye-popping is this 5-on-5 production at Lethbridge?
No, it's something that we've talked a lot about throughout our entire organization. It's one of the things that attracted us to Jeff Skinner and making the trade there. Is we have to prove our even strength, scoring and scoring chances. It's part of the reason why going after Connor Sheary, and it's just something that we felt. If you look at it with Dylan, not only in Lethbridge, but then what he did on the international stage, both at the Lincoln tournament and U18s, he was very consistent in that even strength, creating those opportunities out there.
With the bloodlines and Ryan, what attributes do you see in him that his father possessed to carve out his NHL career?
Well, obviously, you just see from the skating standpoint, and I think just with his father still being involved with the game and being in that role in development, understanding and helping players in an organization make that step from, hey, junior college up to the National Hockey League. It's just, that's invaluable knowledge and experience that he can now pass on to his son.